So I'm Jameson Brooks. I'm here with Godox, and I am a Godox ambassador. As a company, they've been around since the 90s, developing photography flash systems, stuff like that. And the last couple years, we've actually branched over into the cinema realm. So now we're here in the video world, showcasing all of our latest and greatest stuff. Knowled is our professional series line. So basically anything that you see on like a movie set or a high-end commercial, or that's ready just to like work really hard in the production field, is a Knowled series light. They have all the good stuff: Lumen Radio, CRMX, DMX. We have the Godox Light app for Bluetooth control. So this light right here is the MG1200Bi. It's our brightest fixture, 1200 watts of brightness throughout all the degrees of color temperatures.
60-degree intensifier, 440 foot candles. It's at about 15 feet. I have some ambience here, but mostly we're overpowering it. This is at full daylight. Godox at medium fan. So now if I go to tungsten, it's a 3200, I have 360. So it's about a third of the stop difference between daylight and tungsten.
It's IP54, so I personally have shot with this light out in rainstorms, and it's performed flawlessly.
It's quite a large Fresnel there.
Yes, it is, and it's a lot of fun to play with. So I like volumetric lighting, so I like to kick it through windows and get those light beams.
I'm Travis Weirs. I run Cine Kit List, a private Facebook production group, and I'm here at the Godox booth giving a tech demo on the 1200 bicolor. One thing I like about the Godox 1200 Bi and why we've been incorporating it more into our on-set workflow is just modifiers. I love output, and I think, the 1200 point source lights are known for output. Finally, we've got LED fixtures that can compete with some ambient sunlight or even some sunlight in some exteriors. But they don't all have the variety of modifiers that we've been accustomed to using with previous generations of light. So with our 1200 Bi, we're really using the reflector system, and there's 4 of them: 15, 30, 45, and 60. 15 degrees is giving you the most output. I think it's around 150,000 lux at 3 meters, which is almost 10 feet. And then they've also got this G14 Fresnel, which is a 15 to 45 degree Fresnel.
There we go. Oh my goodness. Serious weight. Here's the Fresnel without doors. Let's spot it in. Here with the Fresnel in flood. We've got about 550 in the center. Oh, wait a second. I had 600 for a minute. 550, 555, 480, 410. 410 there. 550, 6 for a minute. 5, 360. Yeah, about 410 there. So 480. Yeah, 410 down there. So 1900 foot candles in the center, and it's 300 right out here. So drops off pretty quick, pretty tight beam. This is the Nanlux Evoke 1200Bi. Let's just see where it is. This is flood mode. So about 270 here in the center, and then going off to about 200 out here. 950 foot candles there, and it drops to 400 there, and 400 there. So another tight spot.
And then they've got 3 different spotlights, 19, 26, and 36. They control the beam. You can use the internal doors to get yourself a narrow beam of light. You can use Gobos to give yourself a little shape. You can focus the Gobo, make it out of focus, kind of put whatever dappling you want on a wall or whatnot.
The spotlight mount has an interesting stabilizing arm that you unfold before you attach the head fixture, because otherwise it can't rotate to where it needs to be. And then you can attach it to the head unit, and it's quite ingenious. So here it's 400 foot candles in the center. Comes out to here, it's about 240, 300, 320, 250. For a little context, I also put up a K5600 800 Joleeko with an ETC 36-degree barrel, and a Nanlux Evoke 1200Bi with the ETC barrel adapter and the same 36-degree barrel. The Evoke's barrel adapter is a filler item until Nanlux can introduce a dedicated spot mount. The Godox spot mount is solidly built and well balanced, but it does not rotate and is not lightweight. So, as with any modifier or accessory, know the pros and cons and plan accordingly. Very large Gobos. They're crisp on the inside, but not on the outside. But I wouldn't use them like that anyway. Normally, I use Gobos out of focus, fuzzed out, and usually cut them with blades in some way as well. So I'm less worried about sharpness and more worried about color fringing and other anomalies. The spotlight mount for the 1200Bi works well, but it uses a size of Gobos I don't yet have, so I'll need to stock up. It's really well balanced. This is loose. It's just staying.
The 1200Bi it's got the proprietary G mount. Now, Bowen's mount is nice, but anybody who's worked with Bowens for long enough knows that there's some play, especially when you're talking about larger, like 5-foot octoboxes. Getting them on and off can be a little challenging because you're trying to press the release button. You got one hand on the release button, one hand on the Bowens ring, and now I have to wiggle it into place to like pull it off. I haven't had that problem working with the G mount because it's a tight lock. On top of that, there's electronic pins in both the mount and the modifier. So I know one thing that Godox is working on is software for release later this year that will allow those to talk to each other and say, hey, if I put this reflector on and there's a 200-degree Kelvin shift, now the light knows if I select this to correction mode, it will automatically correct the fixture at the head to account for that 200-degree shift.
The other fixture that I know is like the Orbiter. It has that type of smartness in a way. But we haven't seen that in a number of other manufacturers, so it's interesting that it comes up in Godox. And so it's really fun to sort of see this move by Godox into sort of more professional range.
I noticed when I got the 1200Bi was the details on every little aspect. I mean, I'm a details-oriented guy. I want high build quality equipment, you know, and some of the first things I look at are the clamp. The little, I think Aperture calls theirs the lightning clamp. I would just call this the Godox clamp, but it's essentially what you're clamping the ballast to your combo stand. And I don't want any play in that clamp. I want it to lock, I want it to be satisfying, and this one is perfect. Same thing with the head cable. I want the head cable to be nice and solid, but also flexible. I don't want to have to be, you know, wiggling it around, trying to get it back in the box. Those kind of small details mean a lot.
Absolutely, and I kind of love how all these different companies are being egged on by each other in a sense to give us these things that we've been hoping for.
I love competition in this space because it benefits the whole community. I think it's great for these companies to incentivize each other to keep pushing technology forward, and the companies that addressed customer issues first tend to take a big piece of that business because customers are like, hey, we want better, longer head cables. Hey, we're looking for locking mounts. We don't want to wiggle these things off the Bowens mount anymore. And the companies that listen sooner, yeah, customers know, hey, you're paying attention. Thank you.
Fantastic. Hey, thanks so much, Travis.
Hey, it's great to meet you, Luke. Appreciate it.
I'm roughly 15 feet away from the unit. I'm going to walk towards it. It's in high fan mode. Now I'll put it in medium fan mode. And walk away. Definitely still audible. Sound people will give you the stink eye. But if you have it outside, obviously not an issue. MOS, certainly not a problem. This level seems comparable to other units in its class, and you're not losing that much output when it's in medium fan, but it's a thing.
Right here, this is our new, this isn't out yet as far as this is a prototype version, but it will be out later this summer. And this is the P600R, this is the P300R, and this is basically an RGB panel light. It has 8 different pixels that are built into it, and basically allows you a lot better color fidelity and way more effects. And so it's going to be more of like a robust housing, like an aircraft grade housing. It's ready to take a beating, and it's reliable, and anything Knowled is going to have all those professional specs on it, so it's going to be ready for professional production with any of the remote control or anything like that. So we'll just keep moving down here.
Yep.
So this light actually is out right now. This is it's really bright, the P600Bi. This is a hard light, so this is a 650 watt bicolor light, and just like its big brother right here, you won't lose any of the brightness throughout whatever color temperature range that you choose. And so this has really tough housing as well. And this one actually retails for, I want to say, $11.99 right now.
650 watts, and you don't lose output throughout the CCT range, and it's got lumen radio. Impressive.
Yeah.
And then in this next space, there's looks like a foldable matte light, or a flex light.
The flex panels are cool because they come in 3 different sizes. There's a 200 watt version, a 400 watt version, and a 600 watt version. They're all bicolor, and they all fold into like a little, basically like this big, and you can put them in the same kind of case. They're super lightweight, you can bring them anywhere, and they're all crazy bright, and they're also weatherproof as well.
Pricing, just generally speaking, this large 4x4 is just under 2K, and then the 2x4 is like just over 1K, and then under 1K for the 2x2.
Yes, the 2x2, I think it starts around 650, somewhere around there, yeah, and it goes up from there, depending on the size of the light that you want. But what I like about these lights, they are super light. Even a one-man band production could use them. You can use them as a key light. They actually come with a softbox and a grid, so that's an optional accessory that you don't have to buy, that you actually get with the lights.
In conclusion, the Godox MG1200Bi and its accessories are solidly built and therefore require a fair amount of heft. At the moment, the 1200Bi seems to be outdueling the competition for raw output, and cursory tests of TM30 and SSI scores also appear to be comparable in terms of color fidelity. The quality cases do take up space, so it's a factor you need to consider when prepping for a job. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.